Hey guys, welcome back to Mainville UTV and Outdoors. We have another round of modifications to do on our 22 Renegade XMR. We have a tune with DynoJet and Dirty Life. We also have SLG's Sniper Performance Series exhaust, as well as their dry storage kit. And we're going to be doing a giveaway personally in this video, but you're going to see more details on that later. So stay tuned for that.
Woo! What's up?
Beard on this guy.
Oh, it's getting wild. FRCC, it's gonna be like ZZ Top.
Good lord, man.
I got the mullet action starting to come in.
What are you driving?
Hell yeah, brother.
What is it?
It's a caravan, like every other work vehicle ever.
Woo, new stickers?
They're different.
Nice. Dude, those turned out good. Who did them?
Cat. Sign Source.
Are these all for me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I gotta put one on the toolbox to start.
You might have to give her some hangulation. Oh, no.
It'll fit. The white eye. Okay, first things first. This is the Sniper Performance Series exhaust from SLG, Canadian company, just down the road here. I'm really happy to support them. We actually, for full transparency, tried to work out a deal. Couldn't come to an agreement, so I just decided to pay full price, because if I can't offer my services, then I might as well support the business in full. So feel really good about that. So this video is not sponsored. The reason why I chose that particular exhaust, other than it being Canadian, is they actually allow for a dry storage kit. So the way this Sniper series is oriented, you can actually put this bracket and have dry storage at the back of the Renegade, which, as you know, is pretty cool for Renegades because they don't really have any storage, and when you do put storage on them, it kind of ruins the fact that you have a Renegade to begin with, at least in my opinion. The next thing we did is a DynoJet tune for a couple of reasons. One, I already had the PowerVision 3 unit for my Maverick. This is how I controlled all the boost and everything in that unit, and you don't actually need to have it in there, so I basically just got another tune with the help of Dirty Life. We made sure to get the right one for the Renegade, and I just plug and played and got that in already, but I'll show you there's a few things you need to know about that. We'll discuss that in a minute. So that's basically what's going on here, and we're also going to be doing a giveaway of another hat, shirt, some stickers and stuff like that. Drake, I need a funny word.
A funny word?
Yeah, just give me a funny word.
We're going to go with Garfunkel.
Garfunkel. So for the giveaway, you have to put a comment in the comment section with the word Garfunkel, and bonus points if you can make it make sense in relation to an ATV video. And I'll randomly pick a commenter in the next video, and we'll make sure we send you out some nice goodies. We have a dry fit shirt and a flex fit hat, some like really good stuff. So really excited about that. We now have to move on and get you a sound test of the OEM versus the Sniper. I'm not going to get into the particulars with sound testing and stuff like that. I've already done a video like that with 780 Alex here in this shop. I'll link that video down below. But I do want you to know what it roughly sounds like in comparison to the two, so I'll have that in this video as well. And then we'll get to ripping and tearing and installing this thing. So when you're looking at this and you have to remove your OEM exhaust, you're going to find one clamp up at the front, and there's actually like a mid pipe that goes to your heads. So there's a 17 mil nut there. You can crack that loose. This is a pretty new machine, so it's going to go really easy. Then we're going to remove the bumper itself and remove that exhaust. I do remember there being a few little minor details that we have to remove here, but very easy job. It's only slightly more complicated than an Outlander, but it's just a matter of a couple minutes. We've actually done this process again in that other installation video of a different SLG on 780 Alex's machine. I should have this done in a few minutes, but I just wanted you to know that there is some things to consider and a few extra bolts in the bumper and everything else. So. So the 4 points that are actually back here for a tie down, that's what all of this is tied into. Ooh, you can tell that got hot. That is a beautiful blue. Anybody need a stock exhaust? Let me know. Time to get this bad boy on. I'm pretty sure this has to go in first, but we're not going to mount it because this also is where the bumper mounts. You want to guide me in?
No, not really.
So what you're looking at here is the actual bumper structure we took out. What you're going to notice is we have SLG's bracket on the inside. So this is going to hold your dry storage. It has a couple bolt spots. 2 at the back are actually going to be tied into your frame on the machine, but 2 you can install right here on the table just to help you out while we insert this whole thing into the machine. Don't think you can pull this out directly right here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't want to ruin any of the powder coat or anything like that. So I'm just going to install it here on the table and then insert it with the exhaust and start reinstalling all the bolts. We just got to
Clear the regulator bracket first. Yeah, and I'll put body check it. Put 2 bolts in the bottom, and then pivot off of them.
looking good. Okay, so we have it all installed. It's all sorted out. We're gonna get to the storage bin in a minute, but we have everything lined up. Went really well. Of course, it's obviously easier now that a lot of components are missing. The stock exhaust took up this huge cavity here. So the only thing you had to keep in mind was as you were installing this, kind of everything had to go in loose and then you tie it all in together at the same time. The exhaust itself can be lifted up or down. So that's the only adjustment you really have to keep an eye on, just so that you're not rubbing against the bumper or the plastics. There is a lot more room than it looks like. The only thing we did change was there's 2 bolts down here. I wasn't sure exactly what they were expecting us to do with the OEM bolts on installation. So I just found 2 other bolts that I have in my little bolt bin, just that fit a little bit better. But now we're gonna move on to the sound. And like I said, if you want a really good clip of how these exhausts sound, I have a whole other video, again, that is linked in the description. But just for this video's sake, obviously I have the OEM one that I had up, and then now I have this sound that you're gonna hear now. Yeah, dude. Woo! Yeah, that sounds freaking good. Okay, now for one of the coolest things that SLG is doing, and one of the reasons why I think this system is the most unique out there right now, is this storage bin. So because of the way that the exhaust, the slip-on is oriented, you can actually use that whole cavity where the OEM exhaust was. So obviously he decided to use that for dry storage. The great part about this is obviously you get to keep the look of your Renegade. It's slick and, you know, sporty like the way you want it. You can still have storage now. So basically you have a fairly sized dry box. I'll see how this kind of holds up long term, especially in its location. There it is. You can pull out your foam. Now you can do this however you'd like. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but I am going to take a look at this in this video. My first thought is to put basically a spare belt along the perimeter and then a handful of tools so that you can change a belt, work on your wheel ends, anything that's kind of reasonable to work on the trail. Obviously, I don't need every tool under the sun, but I do know a good handful of tools that I will probably adapt over time to make sure that I've got on the Renegade. So I'm pretty impressed by this. I think the only alternative for me would be like maybe some GoPro stuff, but I'm really excited to kind of dig into this, and I'll show you how this installs now that we have that bracket set up. With this locked up, you're gonna see the SLG bracket that he outfitted to this case. You can kind of feel it as you slide it in. You'll feel a bit of a cushion. The back portion of the bracket is kind of bent in a way that you'll feel it kind of sink into where it needs to be. From there, you give these a right good tug. I can already know that's going to be in the comment section. But once you do, it's in there solid. It's fairly flush. It only sticks out a hair from where the bumper actually is. I think this is probably one of the best designs I've seen out there. I really like that this space was used in such a good way. Really unique, and I'm glad it's a Canadian guy doing it. Very impressed by everything so far. I think from here, all we need to do is talk about the tune. Now that we have the exhaust done, something that I had to do preemptively was I actually already did a DynoJet tune. So what we're looking at here is this is a Power Vision 3. This is made by DynoJet. I acquired this for the Maverick build so that I could monitor and program and tune for the turbo setup that we did on the other machine. I already had this PV3, so I contacted Dirty Life if I could get another license to tune this Renegade. The biggest reason for tuning is for a lot of the luxuries that tuning provides. You're not going to make a pile of power out of this exhaust setup and tune. Anyone who tells you that they do is just straight up lying to you. There is a handful of horsepower, but ultimately you're not really going to feel it. I like the sound and the tone and all the great things. There is a couple horse to be made, but now you can move rev limiters and you can remove like the annoying reverse if you want, like the reverse limit. If you want to move RPM to certain places and shifting points and mess with a lot of that kind of stuff, there's a lot more luxuries. And the biggest reason is when you're going to a free flow exhaust, you can add more fuel across the board so it's not so lean. Especially when you're putting on these exhausts, you're actually making it even more lean. So definitely be careful about what you're doing with certain exhausts. Most of them out there on the market will require a tune. Not all of them, there are some that don't. The benefits gained by those exhausts are only sound. So it's kind of depends what you're looking for. So for this PV3, a few notes. If you already have one from other build, yes, you can go and get another license. You will have to pay, but of course you don't have to pay for another unit. You can take these units, flash something, and then throw it on a shelf or keep it plugged into the unit so you can monitor things like air-fuel ratios and stuff like that. That's why I chose to go and get just another license from Dirty Life and put it on. I did learn something for you Can-Am guys. When you get your DynoJet PV3, it's going to come with some cables. When I ordered it for my Maverick, it doesn't have the DES Can-Am security system, like the key system. For example, this Renegade, it does have DES right here. That's what this key looks like. I have a traditional key in my Maverick, and basically that means you're going to get different cables. For my Maverick, if you look at the cable provided with the PV3 and you have the clip facing upwards, you're going to have a pin on the bottom left out of the 6. For the DES, you need the cable that actually has the pin on the top left on the left-hand side. There is a difference, and I'm going to get you a close-up here. So the one that I'm showing you is for non-DES, and that extra pin you're seeing on the bottom left needs to be on the top left for DES machines. If you don't have that pin, your PV3 will not power up, meaning you can't tune something with DES without that pin. I'm sure you could break this apart and repin it. I'm not sure. I did take a look at doing that, but you'd have to break apart all the serious glue and everything they have going on here. But you're better off just getting another cable. They're inexpensive. You can get them from Dirty Life or whoever your power sports aftermarket parts provider is and get that done. Now, luckily, a good friend of mine, Monsters of the North, a local guy here, he does big builds and he does repairs and all sorts of crazy stuff here in Saskatoon. He had the right cable and actually came out to help me. On the phone with Dirty Life, we got the tune done in a matter of about 15 minutes or so. So I'm really happy we could get that done. My system is safe from running extremely lean and burning off my hairs on my left leg. Now, just to show you guys, specific to the Renegade, you're going to take your seat off, and anything, I believe 19 or 20 and above, you're going to see an ECU connector. I'm pretty sure it was 19 at the year it came out. 18s and below, you had to actually pin into the ECU or send your ECU off. You're going to see the connector here. These are the 6 pins that I was telling you about. And with that, your harness, no problem. Once you plug into that, you plug into your PV3, you power the unit on. You don't actually have to turn the machine on, just the power. It'll cycle up, and as long as your tune is downloaded into your PV3, you select it, select flash, and install it. It's really that easy. The actual flashing process takes about 10 minutes, and then it'll instruct you on how to turn off the machine, turn on the machine, and just make sure that it starts, and then take it for a ride and do your thing. That's it. Keep this unit because you can tune multiple machines with it, just get different licenses, so that's pretty slick. Big thank you to Dirty Life and Monsters of the North for getting me sorted out. I always make demands last minute, and the good people around me really help out, so really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. So from here, the only thing we're going to do is mess around with how we're going to use that dry storage. I might do a little bit of detail work So we're gonna get moving on to that. I wanna get rid of a lot of these stickers and stuff. I am thinking about doing a wrap. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it yet. But we do have one really big modification still coming. So we're gonna see that in a little bit. Cass and I are leaving for a big trip to the States. If you're seeing this video, we're driving the next day. We're gonna be real busy. On top of that, we're trying to sell the house and a few other things. But keep track of us on social media. Of course, we're on just about every platform you can imagine. So we're gonna move on to messing around with that case and see what we come up with. And maybe I'll take this down the road just for a quick, sound check. See if the neighbors still like me. Okay, so here's what I settled on for now. It's kind of a temporary setup. I'm not committing to cutting the foam just yet because I know that this closes as it is. So the way you see it is the case. I put a nice Mainville sticker here and a cheeky one right there. I always do that to my cases just to make sure there's some proof that the case is mine, I guess. But what we're going to see here is a lot of really basic tools that'll get you out of a bind. You're obviously not going to be able to rebuild the entire Renegade, but you're going to be able to, service your belt, clutches, wheel end stuff. The only thing I may want to put in here is something to get the hub off, the hub nut. That's the only thing that's kind of not involved. So we're going to see paracord, lighter. There's your traditional kit with the secondary bolt that's in there. Variety of pliers, obviously adjustable wrenches. I got a 3/8 ratchet with an extension and the Torx. This one Torx size is one of two that basically does most of everything you're gonna deal with on the Renegade. Knife, zip ties, some Allen head, and it's basically what you're looking at. I will adjust this over time and I will update you guys if need be. If you have any recommendations for what goes in here that would be useful, feel free to leave it down below. That would be super helpful. This is just something that I came up with, off the top of my head, based on things that I've needed in the past, essentially. But I think this is a pretty good basic kit to have, and I'm sure there's better. And we will adjust over time and have that perfect kit. But for now, this is incredible. This is actually more than I've ever had on an ATV. The side-by-side, that's different. Of course, I can carry all sorts of extra stuff. I may even include some recovery gear in here. So like some pulleys and things like that if I have to winch out of like really crazy stuff, or maybe a tree hugger or something like that. You wouldn't believe what you can jam into this case. It's actually bigger than you think. So that's pretty sick. We're gonna slam this into the quad here and we'll get this packed up. Ooh, she's looking good. In the background, Drake must have got bored. He removed all the warning stickers that I wanted off and even gave it a good old muck off courtesy of dirtylife.ca. So she's shiny. Frig, that looks good. What a wicked machine. So I have some solutions and things that are gonna happen here, and I have some stuff that's gonna happen at the front, but there it is. Our Sniper series from SLG with the storage bin all kitted out. I think obviously that's going to take a lot of tweaking, and it's all tuned up. So this machine is just another step closer. There's basically like one more phase of mods coming in for this, and then we have a few I'm going to call refining touches that we're going to deal with. The only thing is I know the next set of mods are going to make it in time, but I don't think I'm going to be doing the refining touches that I want to do before we move back to Ontario. So we have a very busy schedule. I'm trying to fit it all in, but there it is. Drake, that looks good, buddy. Thank you very much. I kind of just want to take it up the street, just kind of get a brap.
On the muddiest day.
Oh, it is muddy out there. Oh no. All right. Woo. My dirt road is incredibly muddy, so I'm not going to be going for a rip just yet, but I'm pretty sure I just saw a flame.
There was a fireball.
I might have to check the tune. Okay, that's where I'm going to end it here.